doing on this fine day? Me? I'm doing very well. I'm just now reading my fantastic autobiography about my life and about architecture. Well, since you're here, would you mind me telling you a story? I am very good at storytelling. Well, if you don't mind, I'll tell you a story about the famous builder, Woody Block. You see, Woody Block was a dreamer. He wanted to build the perfect city, one that would make everyone who lived in it happy. He decided to build his city under the sea. There would be parks with paths winding through gardens of coral and seaweed. Submarine buses would carry passengers to a zoo filled with cages for sharks and stingrays and other strange and curious sea creatures. Instead of fountains of water in the public square, air fountains would release interesting patterns of bubbles through the clear green water. Just imagine, Woody thought. You could sit at a window and watch schools of brilliantly colored fish float by. He drew up his plans, but when he showed them to his friends, they were puzzled. There's just one problem, Woody, they said. How are people going to live down there? How are they going to breathe? He hadn't thought of that. Woody was not discouraged. He still dreamed of building a perfect city. He read through books in the library until he learned about a special material that was clear as glass and yet as strong as steel. That's it, he shouted. A glass city. He sat down immediately and drew his plan. Before the fall leaves had begun turning gold, construction began. People came from miles around to watch as the strange glass-like buildings went up. When the city was built, journalists and photographers came from all over the world to see it. Sunlight gleamed through the walls and the roofs. Rainbows of light splashed the street. Shining stairways led to towers that twinkled in the sun. And as day darkened, the colors of the city changed from bright yellow and blue to purple and orange. Woody smiled to the spectators and said, I can hardly wait for the people to move into the city I've made for them. Suddenly, everyone was frowning. One photographer said, I thought it was just art. You don't think people really live here, do you? There wouldn't be any privacy. That's right, said another. I can see everything my neighbors are doing, and even worse, they can see me. A woman added, Oh my, I would have to keep my house clean all the time. Well, you can guess what happened. No one wanted to live in Woody's city, so although it became a famous work of art, it always remained empty. But still, Woody was not discouraged. He had a new idea, to build a city in the air. I'll make a balloon city, he said. It would be wonderful. It would float in the breeze, a city of birds and clouds. Once again, he set to work. He had workers make the many platforms that were to hang by sturdy ropes from the balloons. On the platforms, they built light plastic houses. Out of strong rubber, they made hundreds of colored balloons. Then they roped the balloons together and filled them with gas. The city rose slowly into the sky. Suddenly, fierce gusts of wind struck the balloons, snarling and twisting the ropes and shaking the platforms wildly. The balloons began to pop, and the whole city started to fall to the ground. Thank heaven it's empty, said an old man. Everyone agreed that Balloon City was not a safe place to be in a storm. Woody now knew that if he wanted to build a perfect city, he would have to think about the people first. So he asked what made them happy, and in almost every case they answered,
Other people.
Woody has learned his lesson. He built the city for people. Everyone was happy to live there, and of course, Woody was happy too, because he had finally come to fill a city. So, whenever someone has great happiness, think of Woody, who finally came to fill a city, and you will remember the word Felicity. And that was the story of Woody Block. I really hope you enjoyed my story. Now, get out of my house! I don't like telling stories. This is ridiculous! I don't want to tell another story!